Welcome to the news on the hour on Providence Television International. I am Ugbebo Ikekwa. Before we go down to the main news for today, let's take this commercial.
Vacancies. A reputable hotel in Benin City is in need of the following personnel for immediate employment. 1. Hotel manager. 2. Female receptionist. And 3. Supervisor and specialist in housekeeping. Applicants must be between the ages of 30 and 45 with at least 5 years experience. Qualification, at least an OND from a recognized institution. Computer knowledge will be an added advantage. Salary, very attractive with lots of fringe benefits. All applications must be accompanied by photocopies of applicants' credentials and CV, in addition to 2 referees and their telephone numbers. The applications should reach the advertiser on WhatsApp number 08033511599 or submitted at Providence Television International, 42 Igbesaman Street, Bairia Junction, Benin City, not later than Thursday, March 27, 2025. Please note that only shortlisted applicants will be invited for the formal interview. Signed, Management.
The 2023 presidential candidate of Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, has slammed the National Assembly for approving President Bola Tinubu's declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State, emphasizing that two-thirds majority cannot be determined through voice vote. Mr. Peter Obi stated that the action is contrary to Section 305(4) of the 1999 Constitution as amended, that requires a resolution of the National Assembly supported by two-thirds majority of members to back the President's request. The 2 chambers of the House on Thursday approved President Bola Tinubu's declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State, which resulted in the suspension of Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy, and other elected officials for 6 months, and the appointment of a sole administrator by voice vote. Peter Obi condemned Nigeria's current democratic system, describing it as transactional and lacking true opposition. His remarks followed yesterday's parliamentary vote, which he claimed exposed fundamental flaws in the nation's democracy. He emphasized that lack of proportional representation in Nigeria's legislature weakens accountability and distorts electoral outcomes. Mr. Obi warned that unless urgent reforms are implemented to enforce party discipline and ensure fair representation, Nigeria's democracy will remain fragile and dysfunctional. The 2023 presidential candidates Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and former Kaduna State Governor Nasser El-Rufai have announced the formation of a coalition of opposition leaders to challenge President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 elections. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar confirmed this while responding to a question on behalf of the opposition leaders during a press conference on Thursday at the Yaradua Center, Abuja. There have been increasing discussions recently on whether opposition parties should form a coalition to defeat President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 elections. The apex socio-political body for the South-South geopolitical zone, the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, Pandef, has condemned in very strong terms the 6-month suspension of Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State by President Bola Tinubu. Rising from an emergency meeting of the Board of Trustees and expanded National Executive Committee yesterday, Pandef stated that with the action, President Tinubu stabbed the Niger Delta in the back. In a communique issued at the end of the meeting, Pandef called on the National Assembly, led by Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Speaker of the House of Reps, Tajuddin Abbas, and the entire members of the Assembly to show courage and be on the side of truth by rejecting totally the onslaught on democratic governance in Rivers State. Media operator Dr. Emmanuel Yariva has called on the federal government to tackle the issues of insecurity and power as a means to curb the incessant migration of Nigerian youths from the country. Dr. Yariva made the call recently during an interview session on Providence Television International. He emphasized that Nigeria is a blessed country, adding that most of the country's Nigerian youths migrate to are far less endowed than Nigeria. The veteran broadcaster urged the federal government to create an enabling environment to enhance the engagement of youths in developing the country.
Economic problems, security problems, and all of that. But we need not experience this because we are better endowed than many countries around the world where Nigerians run to. I mean, you just mentioned Haiti. You find Nigerians in Haiti. You find Nigerians in very many poor countries, even in the southern hemisphere. So, but there's no need for this if we get certain things in place. Nigerians are very industrious. The youth, for instance. I mean, old people are not in Japa syndrome. It's the youths that are involved, okay? And we are losing them. Some have said, no, never again, they won't come back to this country. But look at it now, the United States is in the front burner, deporting people who entered illegally, what you call illegal migrants, all right? But I just pray that other nations in the West do not follow suit. So, but that's the way it is, really. And what are those things that Nigeria needs to put in place? First of all, we must tackle the issue of security or insecurity. We must tackle insecurity. We must tackle the issue of power, the issue of cost of living, getting higher every day. And we might take them one by one. Insecurity, for instance, means that you are not sure of your survival for the next day, all right? And only recently, about 3 states in the north, we had about 37 or 40 people massacred by bandits. Only recently, I think within the week, or maybe late last week. So it's a recurrent issue. And many people are afraid. In the West, it is happening all over the place. In Edo State, for instance, to the extent that even the senator representing Edo North has cried out, that's Oshamale, has cried out that the federal government should come to the aid of the state government. That's how bad it is. And a lot of young people are scared. They cannot set up businesses of their own because they are not sure of what will be. Now, secondly, power. Power is at the base of it all. Because if you talk about power supply, this is what makes Western countries tick. Power supply, because there's no power outage, for instance. But that's apart. When you have steady supply of power, then businesses will thrive. I mean, apparently, businesses, big and small, will thrive. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, they have been crying in the last 1-2 years that they don't know what.
Operatives of the Niger State Police Command have rescued 3 Chinese miners after an angry mob attempted to attack them. The incident occurred when the 3 Chinese miners were traveling to a mining site in Sakaba, Kebbi State, and allegedly hit a 15-year-old girl, Fatima Abubakar, with their Toyota SUV with registration number SML61JJ. The miners failed to stop to attend to Fatima, and some members of the community who witnessed the accident gave them a hot chase as the expatriates appeared unbothered by the accident. The mob damaged their vehicle and was about to mete out jungle justice treatment on them before operatives of the Niger Police Command arrived at the scene and promptly intervened, rescuing the Chinese. Motorists traveling from Lagos into Ogun State via the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway were stranded for hours on Thursday after a multiple vehicle collision on the Kara section of the road. The traffic jam stemmed from 2 accidents at various points along the expressway. The accident on Kara Bridge led to a container falling and obstructing traffic, leaving motorists stranded for hours. The spokesperson for the Federal Road Safety Corps Ogun State Command, Florence Okpe, confirmed no casualties were recorded. 3 months after his appointment, new Fubara'S coach Eric Shelley is looking forward to securing a win in his first game in charge of the team when he leads them against Rwanda in a crucial 2026 World Cup qualifying match at the Amahoro Stadium in Kigali today. The line of handlers who have come before him, particularly Pesero and Filinidi, have made his start a Herculean task as he faces the pressure of reviving the team's ill-fated 2026 World Cup qualifying campaign. After 4 matches, Nigeria is in 5th place with just 3 points. The Confederation of African Football has announced the details of the dates kick-off times and venues for the Total Energies CAF Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025 fixtures. The 15th edition of the Continental Showpiece will be contested by 16 nations between March 30th and April 19th, 2025. A total of 4 stadiums will play host to matches during the tournament, namely the El Bashir Stadium in Mohammedia, the Labi Zeldi Stadium and Berchid Stadium, both in Casablanca, as well as the El Abdi Stadium in El Jadida. Proceedings get underway at the El Bashir Stadium on Saturday, March 30th, when tournament hosts Morocco play East African champions Uganda. The United Kingdom's Heathrow Airport has closed until midnight on Friday due to a power outage, throwing the plans of tens of thousands of travelers into chaos. London's main airport, which is Europe's busiest gateway, stated today that it had suffered a significant power failure due to a fire at an electrical substation supplying the facility. Apologizing for inconveniences caused, the airport's authority advised passengers not to travel to the airport and should contact their airline for further information. The shutdown will affect at least 1,351 flights. And to the exchange rates, $1, its equivalent in Naira, is now 1,552. €1 now stands at 1,683 Naira. £1 2,009 Naira. And the Canadian dollar is now 1,082 Naira. And that's the news on the hour on Providence Television International. Thanks for watching. Please stay tuned.